Imagine this. You're living in ancient Rome, where secret information could decide the fate of an empire. Spies are everywhere, watching, listening, and reporting back to powerful leaders. But what if I told you that the art of espionage, the world of secret agents and clandestine operations, dates back over 2,000 years? How did espionage evolve from the shadows of ancient Rome to the thrilling world of Cold War spies? And just how important were these shadowy figures in shaping history? Let's dive in and uncover the secret world of spies. From gathering military intelligence in the Roman Empire to the high-stakes espionage of the Cold War, spies have shaped the course of history in ways that are almost unimaginable. They've influenced the rise and fall of empires, tipped the scales in battles, and kept the balance of power in check. This video will take you on a journey through time to explore how espionage has evolved across different periods in history. We'll uncover covert operations that altered the fate of nations and brought some of the greatest leaders to their knees. But before we get started, if you're fascinated by history and the secret world of spies, hit that like button and subscribe for more content that uncovers the hidden truths of history. Our journey through the world of espionage begins in the heart of one of the most powerful empires in history, ancient Rome. While we often picture Roman legions marching into battle or gladiators fighting in the Colosseum, what we don't always realize is that behind the scenes, a network of spies was keeping the emperor informed, maintaining order, and securing the empire's borders. Rome understood the critical importance of intelligence gathering. Spies, or speculatores as they were called, were tasked with keeping tabs on foreign enemies, potential traitors, and rival political factions. These covert agents played a key role in protecting the empire from both external threats and internal unrest. The role of spies in ancient Rome went beyond simple reconnaissance. They were the emperor's eyes and ears in a world where information was power. One of the most famous examples is the network of spies established by Augustus, the first Roman emperor. Augustus, known for his cleverness, understood that controlling information was key to preserving his power. He didn't just rely on military might. He depended on a sophisticated system of informants who would alert him to any signs of dissent or rebellion. These agents operated in complete secrecy, blending into Roman society while gathering crucial intelligence. The success of Augustus' reign is often attributed to his ability to stay ahead of any threats through his spy network. Some spies infiltrated enemy territories, while others gathered intelligence domestically, reporting on political rivals or governors with too much ambition. One of the unique challenges Roman spies faced was the vastness of the empire. The Roman Empire stretched across Europe, North Africa, and parts of the Middle East, making it difficult to relay information quickly. Without modern communication, spies used a range of methods, including coded messages and trusted couriers. Sometimes messages were hidden in the most unexpected places, inside hollowed-out objects or written in invisible ink made from organic materials. But how did these spies operate across such a vast empire without modern technology like phones or encrypted messages? And what risks did they face, both from enemy forces and their own leaders? We'll explore more in the next section. As we move forward in history, the Renaissance period marked a significant transformation in espionage, especially in Europe. This was the age of diplomacy, politics, and art, but it was also an age of secret deals and hidden agendas. In Renaissance Italy, for example, espionage became an art form of its own, with city-states like Venice and Florence employing spies to gain political advantages over their rivals. One of the most fascinating figures in this era was Niccolò Machiavelli. Although known for his famous work The Prince, Machiavelli was also deeply involved in the world of espionage. He believed that rulers needed to be cunning and sometimes deceitful to maintain power. His writings often referred to the necessity of spying on both enemies and allies to stay informed. Machiavelli's ideas became central to the diplomatic intrigues of this period. In Renaissance Europe, spies weren't just hired by kings and queens. They were often sent on covert missions by ambassadors. These early diplomats were essentially double agents, representing their countries while secretly gathering intelligence on their host nations. Spies used all sorts of creative methods to collect information, sometimes posing as merchants or entertainers to gain access to royal courts. They would observe conversations, track troop movements, and intercept letters. Information was currency, and those who had it held tremendous power. One notable example comes from England's Elizabethan era, where Sir Francis Walsingham, Queen Elizabeth I's spy master, set up one of the most efficient spy networks of the time. Walsingham's agents uncovered multiple assassination plots against the Queen, including the infamous Babington plot, which led to the execution of Mary, Queen of Scots. Walsingham's network is credited with protecting England from internal threats during a period of intense political rivalry with Catholic Europe. But espionage in this era was risky business. Spies faced the constant threat of torture or execution if caught, especially when operating in hostile foreign territories. Governments were ruthless when it came to protecting their secrets. How did spying techniques evolve as Europe entered the age of revolutions and global conflict? Let's uncover how espionage played a decisive role in the next period, the Napoleonic Wars. Section 3. Espionage in the Napoleonic Wars. During the Napoleonic Wars, from 1803 to 1815, espionage became even more critical. Napoleon Bonaparte was not only a brilliant military strategist, but he also understood the value of intelligence. He created an extensive network of spies who provided him with crucial information about enemy forces, diplomatic relations, and even the movements of his own allies. Napoleon's intelligence network allowed him to outmaneuver much larger armies. One of his most famous agents was Charles Louis Schulmeister, a former smuggler turned master spy. Schulmeister's undercover work helped Napoleon win several key battles, including the Battle of Austerlitz in 1805. He fed misinformation to the enemy, creating confusion and leading them into traps. But Napoleon wasn't the only one with a strong intelligence network. His enemies, particularly the British, developed their own methods of gathering intelligence. The British Secret Service, led by individuals like Sir Sidney Smith, became adept at infiltrating enemy camps and intercepting messages. Some of the tactics developed during this period laid the groundwork for modern espionage techniques, such as code breaking and cryptography. Section 4. Spies in World War I and II. The 20th century marked a turning point in the history of espionage, particularly during World War I and World War II. Both conflicts saw a dramatic increase in the importance of intelligence gathering, with spies playing pivotal roles on all sides. The wars were fought not only with soldiers and tanks, but with information. In World War I, espionage was primarily focused on gathering military intelligence. The Germans had an extensive spy network, and one of the most infamous spies of the time was Mata Hari, a Dutch exotic dancer accused of being a double agent. Although her guilt remains debated by historians, her execution by the French in 1917 made her a symbol of the dangerous and murky world of espionage. The British Secret Intelligence Service, also known as MI6, was formed during World War I and quickly became one of the world's most formidable intelligence agencies. They employed various methods to gather information from enemy nations, including the use of secret agents, code breakers, and even homing pigeons to send messages across enemy lines. Their efforts were instrumental in providing the Allies with critical intelligence. World War II saw an even greater rise in espionage, with both the Axis and Allied powers employing vast networks of spies. The British MI6 and MI5, alongside the American Office of Strategic Services, which later became the CIA, were heavily involved in covert operations during the war. One of the most successful intelligence breakthroughs during the war was in the field of code breaking. The work done at Bletchley Park, where cryptanalysts like Alan Turing cracked complex enemy codes, provided a strategic advantage that greatly contributed to the war effort. Code breaking and espionage together played a pivotal role in shortening the war and shaping its outcome.